Hello, welcome back. If you are tuning into episode 4, this one looks a little bit different. It's also going to sound a little bit different. We don't have the energy of Theo in here, but we're going to have my energy. And this is Nadia. Probably should have started with that one. But I was here on episode 3 with Jay Westbury. If you haven't listened to that one, go ahead and listen to that. But we've got a new guest today.
Hey.
He's got that reader voice. But I will introduce his name. This is Jason Mudford. Hello, Jason.
Hello.
How are you?
What kind of voice do I have?
You know the ones that they record the audiobooks?
Oh, right.
You do have a nice audiobook type of voice.
Okay. No one likes their voice though, really. So when they say you have a voice, oh, really? Do I have a voice like that? I don't think I do.
You don't?
No.
No one's ever said that to you before?
Monotone, I've heard a lot.
How about you introduce yourself, Jason? What do you do?
I'm a jack of all trades.
Yep.
I'm a little bit of a master of most of them. Probably not most of them, but I don't like to. I think specialisation is important, but I like to actually know a lot about lots of things. I like to know a lot about a lot of things. So myself is, if I was to describe myself, it would be hands-on, and there's not a role that I don't know at the moment. And hopefully I'll learn more. So in real estate, in real estate, when I was 23, I'm 53, 30 years ago, actually in November I started.
Wow.
Did my real estate course in 1991. I was 18 years old. Can you believe it? But it took me a bit of time to get into it because 18-year-olds starting in real estate don't really work that well. They're too young. So did real estate in Essendon. And then I was in corporate prior to real estate. I worked in finance. I worked at Colonial Mutual, superannuation mainly, and pretty much life insurance claims and so forth. I was managing that. But my, I suppose, background is an accountant, and I love that. I don't love accounting, but I love finance. I love economics. I love data. I love detail. But also too love marketing. So anyway, I could ramble on a fair bit for you, but yeah. So when I left real estate, it was because I think it's like the 3 years in real estate. Sometimes it's like, do I stay or do I go? And I kind of like went because I was still young. I was only 26. I did have a good friend of mine that passed away, which was part of that decision as well. But I went into basically newspapers. I worked at News Corp, worked at Fairfax for 16 odd years. And that was amazing, the different roles I had there. And funny enough, make your job your passion. I actually was a paper boy for 3 years, getting up basically 5 a.m. and doing a paper round in the morning, 6 days a week. And in fact, I actually took the papers off the truck, and there was 21 rounds, and it was called the breakup. So you broke up all the papers for all the paper boys, set them all out like in a room like this, and then they would come in, put them in their sacks, and off they go. But yeah, broke a few handlebars because those ages were like this thick. They were massive. But so I loved reading. I liked reading newspapers because there's lots of knowledge in that. Mm-hmm. So I read newspapers back to front, read The Age, so I loved like business. And I suppose I kind of got into working in a newspaper, and I sold advertising, and I led sales teams within the advertising space, but I also loved reading them. So I do like writing and reading. Don't do it as much now, because there's only so much you can fit in your head after a while. But that's a bit about me. Yeah.
How old were you when you were a paper boy?
So I would have been, I don't know, maybe. I finished. I didn't do it in year 12, so I think I just wanted to focus on year 12 a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of funny stories. But we pretty much, I'll tell you how much we got paid. How funny is this? $17 a week. We
A
got paid.
week?
Now, no one would do this job now. Like, it's just, there's not enough money in it. But like, it was really bad money. And then you had to go to school after you got home, and you'd already been up for 3 hours before everyone else, or whatever it be. But the school's only up the road. It was literally 50 metres away, so it wasn't too bad. Sometimes I would come home, have a little bit of a sleep, and then go to school. But we ate donuts from the bakery almost every morning, and I think we spent all the money we earned on donuts.
You split the $17 into what, $5 a day for donuts before school?
Yeah. So I grew up in East Keilor, and we did it around the Centreway, and that's where JB Hi-Fi was established in the Centreway, East Keilor, and the donut shop was right next to it. But pretty much any money that I had left over from the donuts, I would spend at JB Hi-Fi. I remember I bought my first stereo from JB Hi-Fi. I think I was maybe 15. I saved up for ages. It was an Akai. It cost me like $1,300. Pretty much emptied out my whole bank account on JB Hi-Fi. But that was John and Grace. John Barbuto, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And they opened up that business behind the shop originally, and just did car radio installations. So I had a lot of car radios also installed by them, with big subwoofers as well.
You were one of them.
I do like my music. Yep.
What's your favorite genre?
I don't have one.
No?
I don't. Again, I don't have a favorite really. I like lots of different things. Yep. So I'll never say that's my favorite. It's too hard to even think about one being your favorite. Like, I think it's the mood you're in. You listen to music based on the mood you're in, what mood you want to be in after listening to it.
Exactly. So we spoke a little bit about what led you to this moment, a little bit of your background. What do you do right now? What's your job right now?
So general manager of O'Brien Corporate, basically the franchisor, and I've been there for 10 years now, and pretty much started when it was 11 offices. So had really no idea about how to do the job. I suppose being in obviously a grassroots business that started as one office in 2010. In fact, Dean O'Brien and Darren Hutchins, who started that business in 2010, I was basically, they were actually advertisers of mine. So that's how I got to know them, and also knew Stavros as well. Stavros is the other partner in the business, and he joined that company in 2013. So it's relatively young as a business, but so I've pretty much onboarded the officers that have come into the business. Most of them I have onboarded them from start to finish. And of course, when you onboard them, that's just the start. You obviously then, obviously working with them constantly. So, which is great. So it's a very, I suppose, ground up job. It's very hands-on. And again, you're also leading your corporate team. We lead the corporate team that support the officers. And obviously we're supporting the team in those offices, from the director down. And it's so many different things that you do. It's very, real estate's complex.
What makes it complex?
Well, it's definitely compliance. It's a small business, but it's actually not small work. There's a lot of work involved. People might think, it's easier because you don't actually own your stock. But but it's stock in, stock out is, say a retail shop. That is a lot simpler. I mean, there's marketing and there's stock, and then you sell and we get a margin. With real estate, well, you don't have stock. You have to get stock by winning business. And obviously property management is more obviously transactional, and it's I suppose the backbone of the business for covering fixed costs. But sales is obviously the most profitable Yeah. So like when I worked in newspapers, we worked on a margin of, say, I think it was about 7 or 8% EBIT as a business. And some, I don't know, like a Woolworths or a Coles, I don't know what their EBITs would be, but I know their markups are pretty strong. But they've got more you can actually plan in those businesses. I think you can in real estate too, but you can plan in those businesses a lot easier than in real estate. Sometimes you're going through ebbs and flows based on markets. So yeah, all the trials and tribulations, COVID, that whole obviously keeping businesses alive, the different things that you go through. It's very, very unique, and it's challenging, which is good fun. Always learning something every day. When I was in a corporate role like Fairfax and News Corp, and that was like, it was a very, I suppose, structured environment, not relaxed, whereas real estate is better for me as a person. I feel like I can be myself more. Although what you learn in a corporate role is very fascinating, because you get to learn how to do things really well or really right. You got structure in how you hire, you got structure in how you onboard, you got structure in how you performance manage, how you obviously do one-on-ones, how you do development plans with staff. A lot of those basics sometimes don't even happen in other businesses. So the things you learn in those roles, being in a corporate role, it's so good, because you can actually put those things into place and you can see improvement, come from those things being put in place. And they're basics, but they're sometimes, let's just, oversee it. They're not. They're actually not oversee. They're actually let go. They're not.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more relaxed real estate, but leadership for me is about, I think, for one person, for leading yourself first, because you can't really lead others if you can't lead yourself first. So I think that's the most important thing. And some people do fake it. They're not authentic in their leadership, and they're not leading themselves first. So they've got to really practice what you preach. So if you can lead yourself really well, you'll lead others really well, and you can be very authentic when you do it that way.
So you don't believe in the fake it till you make it?
Absolutely not. It doesn't work. No. So because I worked in real estate prior to being in a corporate role, a lot of people in real estate would find it difficult to work in a corporate role. It's so much more like it's structured to the hilt. So real estate, yes, successful real estate agents are structured, but as you probably know, only 5% of the top money is earned by 5% of the industry.
So you're saying you do the onboarding and all that sort of stuff for O'Brien, is that right?
So yeah, so an office, or being an office, being obviously a competitor's brand, or being a new start. So we did 19 new starts at O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're doing more rebrands, and the rebrands have been more common now because of, you don't see, agencies have grown, like you don't see them growing. When I say growing, not internally growing, but you don't see them popping up like they were in 2016, 17, when it was really buoyant. The market was really buoyant in that period of time. And 18 was pretty good up until around July. But there was agencies popping up. New starts were prevalent there then, because there was much more turnover than what it is now.
Is there a specific personality type that you look for before you onboard someone? Do they need to have certain drive or passions? Because I know
choosing a franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, there's things that we obviously definitely go with. Like we will not have. We've got a recruitment mindset. They need to have a property management mindset, or or want to have a rent roll, as well as a sales mindset. So ideally 2 directors, not just 1 director, so that because it's a complex business, to do all things from 1 director's point of view is difficult. You'll be limited in how much growth they can get. They'll be limited. So we try and have 2 directors, because most of our offices that have multiple directors will have stronger businesses. EQ, I think, is really important. Like even if it's a business, their emotional intelligence is more important than their intelligence. So, because it's a very people business, and if they're good with people, like good with a vendor, but good with their own staff, they're going to be good at real estate, and a good. We want to be able to work with people that also that are on our page.
100%. Yeah. How did you first hear about TDA?
TDA. Well, it was only because it kind of like was recent. Yeah. It wasn't. I knew of Theo.
Everyone knows
Theo. People talked about him,
Yeah.
but like Theo was like a phantom. I didn't know where he worked.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure how we came across each other, but I can't remember. But it was probably only 6 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So we used to have a lot of our officers talk about Theo and how he made tax depreciation
fun. He'll love that.
Yeah. So it's Daniel obviously I know as well, but Theo seems to be the fun guy. Daniel's probably fun too.
Daniel's fun too. And the quiet type of fun. Theo is very much high energy. We're going to win. It's good. So when you were speaking earlier about 2 directors being able to kind of take on more in general, and also that emotional intelligence that's shared across them both, they work together like ice in water, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yin and yang. I think that's good partnerships to have, because you got to have different skills to your partner. You can't have the same, otherwise the same results sort of would happen. But yeah, ideally, if you had a director that was more focused on property management, the other director's more focused on sales, they can kind of get out of each way, and they can create their own destiny.
Yeah.
And they were in business for themselves because they want to actually make decisions and lead people. So having them in separate, sometimes it definitely can work that they both are involved in sales as well.
Yeah.
Male or female. Even operations or marketing is also a great function, an important function of the business. So probably the vitally most important structure-wise, if an operations team and marketing team.
Yeah.
It's the engine room, I suppose, for sales and compliance, and making sure that agents are well serviced in the office so that it can actually just list and sell. So lead generation, CRM support, virtual assistants for back-end support, admin support. But ideally face-to-face, people that's within your team as a EBU, someone that actually physically is face-to-face, not virtual, is ideal. Because you want to actually grow someone from, say a fresh face, 24, 23-year-old girl or guy, into all the different areas of real estate. Some people might enter real estate in sales and then move into property management. We've had that. And then obviously from property management to sales is probably not as common, but if I was doing real estate, I think learning the different functions would be good from a traineeship point of view. And it's a bit of a shame there is only a traineeship for like certificate 3 for administration. There's not one for sales. It would actually help the industry if there was a traineeship from a sales perspective. But they are doing a course that's completely unrelated to sales. So, or property management. There's nothing for that really either.
What would be, I guess, the biggest personality point that you look for when someone goes in real estate or otherwise, because you did say it's a people kind of business. Do you want someone that's talkative, someone that's loud? What is it? What kind of traits do people need to have to really succeed in this?
Hard work is probably the most important.
In business too, not just in real estate, huh?
Well, yeah, in business, hard work in business, hard work in anything will get you success. I think the character is important too. Having a level head, having a good feedback loop from your team, being able to listen, execute. We have a family. We have values in our business. So family is what's the first value? We call that mutuality. So treating people like their family. If you treat them like their family, well, then you'll want to see them grow and succeed. So that's we go by that. The mutuality is mutual respect. We help each other, and we respect each other. We learn of each other. We challenge each other in a good way. That's important. They're probably the two favourites I have. There's four others, but they're the first two I would look at. Yeah.
And how do you measure success then? Is it monetary? Is it a feeling?
It should be based on goals. Success should be based on what people want. Not success is sometimes different for everyone. So, I mean, yeah, we'd like to. I think we're not ruthless as a business overall, even though we're real estate agents. We actually want to do things the right way and long term. Sometimes building, not slowly, but building a foundation takes some time. You don't want it to obviously be unsustainable if you do it too quick. So, it takes 5 years to probably learn, for a business owner who's new to it, to learn the business.
Do you have a good story to tell about your experience, as in being essentially you run a business, right? You do this. Do you have any stories that kind of stuck with you running this?
I think about how O'Brien has grown, and I think, crikeys, I think in the corporate team that we have, there's 5 of us that are face to face. There's 4 virtual assistants as well, but we also have a bookkeeping or a back end support team that takes care of trust, payroll, everything like that, because that's part of, I suppose, our offering that we can do. Because agents, to be successful in real estate, sometimes you've got to be client facing, and having back end support is of cost, and also there's a lack of sometimes knowledge on how to do that really well. So it's been fundamentally one really good thing. But I'm sort of answering your question. I'll sometimes go around it, but to answer your question, I would say the people that we have in the team and the longevity that we have in the team has been probably the most important part. The retention, you see a lot of people sometimes move in and out. Like, I think it's 85% turnover of salespeople in an office.
Wow.
Well, in terms of making it, 85% leave in the first 3 years. So I think what we've done is create longer term success by way of having retention.
Why do you think the biggest reason people leave a sales role?
Underperformance.
Yeah.
I would say majority of the time. Or to go, if they leave, they could leave to go somewhere else because the grass might be, perhaps greener. And I would say it sometimes is, but it's going to be just as hard to mow the grass. But But yeah, sometimes like, you know, there will be things that they need to look at themselves, you know, point the finger. There's always three fingers pointing back at you when you point the finger. But like, I think, again, going back to managing oneself or leading oneself, it's really important to know if this is going to work for everyone, for that person. So they could, if they don't look at that and they just move to another role, not a role, another company, unless they've really seen or determined, or it's not determined, but deciphered, I suppose, what they need for their success, what they need in an environment, like our environment, being at a business for 10 years, having Michelle that's been there for, I don't know, I think it's 8 years, having those people there, although you might go, well, it's comfort, but I think consistency, the character of I suppose the business will breed longer term success through our agencies and their people.
And you've spoken a fair bit about leadership and leadership of yourself. Is leadership something you can learn? Or you don't think so?
Yeah, definitely.
You can learn leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you learn it from your dad or you learn it from your mother, right? It starts from there, from when you're, you know, you when you start leading other people, you reflect on what you've learned or how you've been treated and what you want to be as a person or as a leader to that person, the do's and the don'ts and all those things. So yes, you can't be selfish. You got to be selfless, and you got to like that family value, that mutuality value. They have to be in the forefront of. I think in our business, if I was in a corporate role, I work at say HQ corporate, but if I was working in a business like News Corp or Fairfax, I'm a very different leader there to what I am now. I'm not. I'm actually, we're dollars and cents numbers, whereas here, because real estate is not an easy gig. You have to be, I think, a better person as a leader, because you might be, you know, some people in leadership roles in those organisations are more maybe managers than leaders.
Yeah.
You've got much more flexibility and lateral, ways to be a leader in a smaller business or a medium-sized business. When you're able to manage up and manage down and manage sideways. So, for instance, we've got suppliers like TDA. We've got business owners, the directors of the franchise. There's another person we lead them all differently. We've got the salespeople that work for the franchise. They're not necessarily obviously part of our team directly, but indirectly. And I see it that you're trying to coach, I suppose, across all the different areas. It's great fun because you can. When I say it's great fun, well, you've got a different scenario constantly, not just the one scenario. Which corporate it's more structured and rigid. You can't actually go too far outside.
Yeah.
Can't be as creative. You can't be as, innovative either. Change in those businesses it's very hard to bring change in. If you look at it, there's restructures. I've been through lots of restructures, and there's redundancies that come out of it. And like honestly, most of them are ridiculous.
How so?
I'll tell you, I've been through a business that actually reversed out of the idea after about 1.5 years. Went back the other way.
How?
So basically, they decided. I won't go into too much details, but they decided that we're going to do it this way. Okay, and basically made a big song and dance about it. And this will make a change. Like when there's so much you can't change in a business, it's hard to make a change. So they make a drastic change, and it's generally actually worse. It's generally, I have not seen it ever be a success. Like think about my industry was newspaper. It was newspaper, so things had to be cut. But they would restructure a sales team, whereas revenue's limited. So restructuring a sales team when the bottom line or the EBIT's at 7 or 8%, like you try and get more up the top, you should be trying to get more off the bottom.
Yeah.
So creating it leaner is where you'd get better results. But I know I'm talking probably a little bit of riddle there, but it's they've got so little room to be creative because it's such a, like, imagine working for Coles New World or Woolworths, and you know, like, it's food. It doesn't really change that much.
Yeah.
You can't. Whereas real estate, you've got so many different things that you can do. You can do SEO. You can
jump into a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yep, lead generation. You've got tech. You can bring in so many different systems to improve the operational business. And that's why I say it's complex, because there's so many moving parts to ensure that you're offering, we're talking, some people have got 5 or 6 people in their office.
Yeah.
And they're operating almost as a big business, but they're small. It's so it's really good to be able to actually do things in these offices that make a difference.
And because I'm conscious of time, if there was one piece of advice that you would give a business owner, what would it be?
One piece of advice.
Or someone that's looking into buy a franchise, or what should they look for? What's one piece of advice you think they should all take with them or carry? Did I stump you?
No. What I said before, I don't like to hang my hat on one thing.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to think of one thing.
Yeah.
So I'm coming up in my mind, is this the best thing? So my answer won't be initially the best answer. I'll say that I think you've got one life to live, and the biggest regret people have is that not giving it a go. So give it a go. Doesn't matter if you fail. It just matters that you actually give it a go. I think you can overanalyze. You can say, I'm not ready yet. I've got too much risk. You got to mitigate the risk, but it's not permanent. You can move out and change if you don't feel that you succeed. But yeah, growth from that mindset point of view, stepping out, being uncomfortable, and then looking back 10 years or 5 years, it's quite satisfying to know that you actually, what you did, and had you have stayed, people would be regretting it. I think most of the time, I don't think anyone regrets not actually trying something, and even if they fail, they still don't probably regret it, as long as it doesn't obviously ruin their lives, Yeah. But mitigating it,
but even then,
risk,
right?
making sure your relationships are intact. Home, obviously, relationships are intact, very important. But yeah,
it's all a learning experience in the end.
Yeah, having an actual good support system at home is really important. It's probably in real estate, because you're putting so many hours in. It's probably one of the most important things you could have.
That's good. And we'll end it on a TDA confessional, because it is the end. We will wrap up. And I don't know